Hey, it is I, Adina. You guys, we are going to do a little something special today. I have an open house that I had to do this morning, but I also wanted to get some content in because I don't expect anybody to show up at this open house. And I'm here till noon, so I thought I'll do some readings while I'm here. You guys, let me get my purse from my little secret hiding place. You guys check out this house that I'm in. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, brand newly constructed. Nobody's lived in it before. Nice countertop, quartz countertops. Very nice new appliances. I'm not going to take you guys through a walkthrough because this isn't for real estate, but let me get my cards. 1 second. All right. How are all of you this Saturday morning? Let me see if I can put this somewhere with maybe better lighting. Is this better? Is that better, guys? I don't know if I like it right there either. Maybe. Is that better? Maybe. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get my life. I don't like it here either. I'm just gonna leave it where I had it. Or maybe, sorry guys. I forgot to bring chairs for myself. Here we go. But I left my cards. I forgot to bring chairs for myself. This is why I'm so all over the place, because I'm unprepared this morning for the open house itself. Fortunately, like I mentioned, I don't think anybody's gonna show up to this open house, so I shouldn't fret as much as I am. So I didn't bring any chairs, so the life of a realtor, I could sit in my car, but I want to do some readings. So you guys, this is what real estate looks like when no one shows up to your open house. You just have to sit here and thug it out and hope someone shows up with a pre-approval or without one and without representation, because open houses are to sell the house, but this isn't even my listing. I'm doing this open house for another agent who couldn't do it this morning. And so the only thing that I benefit from this open house is if someone comes in to look at it and they're an active buyer and they don't already have a realtor. They just were riding past, saw the open house sign. That way, I can become their agent and then help them, buy a house. Other than that, I'm really just doing a favor for another agent. So with that being said, I think that I am going to read Portia Williams Gabodia this morning. I'm sorry, I don't know how to properly pronounce her last name. Galbodia, something like that. Please do not be offended if I butchered that last name. I don't mean to, I just don't know how to properly pronounce it. Like I did yesterday and like I've been liking to do lately, I want to start this reading off with an oracle to get like a generalized energy for what Spirit has to say. It seems to help me a little bit better find the right direction that these readings are going in. So with that being said, I'm going to call up Portia Williams Gabodia, and we'll see. Portia Williams Gabodia. Portia Gabodia. Portia Williams Galbodia, Galbodia, Portia, 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 Portia Williams, Galbodia. I can almost hear her giggling and laughing before I can see her energy. I hear her in my mind. I don't really see her, I hear her giggling, laughing. I do see her. I see her with her short haircut, so I imagine that's her natural hair. It seems that Portia is about her business these days. I know that her image in the past has been the bubbly, fun girl, you know, ditzy, that type of situation, princess of Thoughtlandia. But in Portia's soul, she's much more aware than what she seems. She's even aware of her image and the impression she makes on people, and I get she wears that like a vest of armor. It's almost her costume that she puts on. True enough, it is a very real extension of her personality and her character, but she seems to be much more aware and much more analytical, much more cunning than she likes to play up to be. And I know that's been said before, but I'm reading her energy. So if it's been said before, then I concur based on the energy that I get from her. Portia, talk to me through the oracles. Actually, Spirit, what message would you have for Portia Williams this morning? And Portia Williams, can you speak to us through the oracles? Message, Spirit, what would you give? What message of advice would you give to Portia if I were doing a one-on-one consultation for Portia Williams Galbodia? What oracle card would you give me in advice, advisable action, or just as a message to Portia from the divine? It's time to take action. I'm going to pull 3 oracles. The end of a tough cycle approaches. A new start is coming. This makes me feel like Portia, it was like there was always a plan. It's time to give rather than to take on the bottom. Hold your vision. It feels like there was always a plan in not the back of Portia's mind, in the middle, sitting in the middle of her mind, closer towards the forefront, to return back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't see that the door was ever closed on her. It just made sense to take a hiatus to evade and avoid a lot of the tough conversations that would have come up surrounding her brand new marriage. Now is the perfect time, though, to return. With the end of a tough cycle approaches, I get that even though Portia and Simon's public and social media image has been very much happy wife, happy life, marital bliss, I think that they've been having a tough time getting acclimated into their new life together. I don't think that it was all roses and vacations and smiling, glossy images on social media and bikinis and bathing suits from exotic locations as it has seemed. I think that Simon is always under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress because of how he makes his money, the circumstances around how he earns his living and makes his money and earns his wealth. I think always has Simon on edge. And I think that it's had Portia on edge too. I think that even them blending their lives together personal wise with their respective personal families and personal parties, I think has been tough. I think it's just been tough for them to get their new life together, started off on a good foot. It's been a big foot, but is it a good foot? Have they really been able to get up on their good foot? I don't think so. I don't think that they've been able to get things up and running the way they envision for themselves. Now, I have done a quick peek into Porsha and Simon last year, I think, when they first got together, because I wanted to see if there was genuine love between the two. And I got the same card that I got when I did the same peek into Nene and Leonie. The Chariot in reverse came out for both of those couples, which made me think that in both of those couples, both Porsha's relationship with Simon and Nene's relationship with Leonie, both parties got together for their own purposes outside of genuine relationship. It's like in Porsha and Simon's relationship, and I'm going to just leave it at them because that's who I'm reading. Porsha had her own reasons for being with Simon. Simon had his own reasons for being with Porsha. Now, whether there was a possibility for them to grow into love with each other, that's possible. I don't remember reading it that much into detail. I think I just pulled like 1, 2, or 3 cards because I wasn't that invested, but I wanted to peek. But I did see with the Chariot in reverse that their relationship was founded on ulterior motives for both parties, both Simon and Porsha. With Simon, I think that he had multiple reasons for divorcing Fallon and getting with Porsha. One of them was spite. Just one of them was spite. And Porsha's reason, I think, is obvious for all of us. Lifestyle, luxury, and that type of thing. So with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and start pulling tarot cards. Porsha, talk to me about your marriage with Simon, its inception. It looks like it's implosion based on recent headlines. Is this just a storyline for you? The legal and marital problems that you're having, is this a storyline? Is this real for you? Porsha Williams, tell me what's going on with you, with your marriage, with your return to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Talk to me, Porsha, in spirit and in truth. None of that fugazi, ditzy stuff that you try to pull to hide your true cunning. May nothing be kept hidden from me in this reading. I compel you, Porsha Williams, to speak from your soul regarding your marriage to Simon, your possible storyline for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Is your divorce a part of a storyline? Is it real? Is it fake? What's going on with you in spirit and in truth? Porsha Williams Gabodia. The Star card, this is Porsha. Now, I would like to say that a lot of what's going on in the headlines has a lot to do with her return to the show, just because the Star came out, the card of celebrity and opportunity and gaining celebrity. So I think that absolutely a lot of what we see going on, while it may or may not have a ring of truth to it, it's becoming headline fodder and online chatter and fodder because of Porsha's grand return back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's part of the PR campaign for her to come back as the savior and as the one who got away in the first place. Challenging Porsha is the devil. Porsha has had to do a lot of things that she didn't want to do for the position that she's in. I also think that her marriage to Simon, while it is her storyline, without her marriage to Simon, there would be no interest in Porsha coming back to the show. So not only does her attachment to Simon Even though right now it's messy, it affords her the celebrity and the star power that she fiends. While I do think that Portia would rather not be with Simon, just based off seeing this card, I don't think that he's her zhuzh. You know, he has the coin, but I don't think that's Portia's speed. Portia gives me, she wants young, trendy, fly, sexy, new money, new young man, young sexy man. She doesn't want to have to wake up to Simon every day and he's not that attractive. But Portia does what she has to do to get a coin. No matter what Portia has to do, she'll do it for her bigger picture. And that's the fame, the fortune, the glitz, the glamour, and the glory. That's what Portia wants. More than anything else, Portia wants the lights. By any means necessary, Portia, because you want the lights and the life by any means necessary, that's why the devil is challenging you. Because you have to do things and align yourself with people and in positions that you don't necessarily morally agree with, but you do it because it serves a purpose. Portia, in the recent past, I don't know if this is Simon. I don't know if this is Dennis. I don't know if this is Andy. I think this is Simon. I don't think that Simon is as nice as he portrays just with this card. Not as loving and attentive and endearing to her. I think that Simon does have an affinity for marriage, but marriage suits his purposes, physical and spiritual. Simon is a hunter and he feeds off of, I've heard Isabel Marant read Bones on Simon and Portia, and she actually said this, that Simon is a hunter, and I get that energy from his affinity for marriage and relationship. You would think that he's a very endearing man, a very caring man. I don't get that. I get he's a very manipulative man, and he's also a person by any means necessary. I think him and Portia are of the same ilk, of the same energy. And that's why they're not compatible to be together in a relationship. Whether they are together and they are not actually going through issues in their divorce, I think that issues in their marriage will always be there because they are the same. They're both users. They're both energy vampires. They both pull energetically from other people in order to get their own means. I think that Simon also does really have a lot of shady business. Near future, this doesn't look good for Portia and Simon. If they do get divorced, and this isn't my divorce card, while this is one of the cards that indicate a failing family unit, a failing marriage, I like to see the Hierophant reversed for legal divorces. In the near future, before we see the legalized, finalized divorce, we will see more conversations around Simon's money. We will see a fall from grace from Simon. And I think that this is also a result of Portia wanting to do the show, agreeing to do the show. Even if she felt like this was her grand return and that Bravo has always seen it for her and favored her no matter what anybody else thought, no matter what Candy thought, Portia felt like she was the it girl. However, Portia, they were just salivating over you because you give good TV, because you're so toxic. And yes, they roll out the carpet for you and make you feel like you're the star so that they can get their hands on your life and expose you and exploit you. In the near future, Portia, I don't know if you thought that by you coming back to Bravo, you would be the protected starlet, the favor, because you're the savior coming in to save Bravo from their failing show. But honey, they never needed anybody to save them. They never did. You, though, would be ratings gold ever since you did the ultimate messy thing by siphoning Fallon's lifestyle into your own. They wanted to exploit the hell out of that because they knew that it and you would crash and burn. And the only reason they want you back so badly and make you feel like you're the bitch around there is so that they can exploit you for everything, because they feel like, Portia, you are TV gold because you are always a train wreck waiting to happen. They're going to watch you crash and burn. They're going to watch Simon crash and burn and fall from grace and struggle to maintain. This gives me the feeling of two people who think that they're smarter and that they're more valuable to Bravo and to the network than the executive and the production team at Bravo. They aren't new to this. They're true to this. You guys think that you're the prize and that you're going to come on there and be protected, be valued, honored, and be paraded as if you are the cash cow, the Nene. But that's not going to work like that. I see Simon fumbling to keep his bearings about himself, to keep his business dealings intact and private. Not going to work, Simon, because now that the people that you've done business with know that Portia is going back to TV full time, they're not going to want to do business with you. They're going to pull off because they're all scammers. They're all involved allegedly in shady business. So they're not going to want the attention that your wife brings. Fallon was okay because she was never going to be full time on the show. She would have never jeopardized herself that way. I think even if she thought about it when she did the show, I don't think Fallon would have chosen to join full time if she had the option to do so after more than 1 or 2 seasons, because she would have saw that it would have jeopardized Simon's business dealings and she wouldn't have wanted to. Portia, though, she doesn't have the foresight or the real deal savvy that it takes. Cunning maybe, but savvy, no. To maintain her wife position for Simon's woe. Her desire to be back in the limelight is going to cost Simon his coin and his business. And it is going to cause a strain on your relationship, Portia. Because more than Simon, if Simon doesn't benefit from you being on TV and the protection that you both thought that you would get on Bravo, he's not going to be happy about this, or you either. Once he realized that Bravo sucked you guys in, but they misled you by making you think that you and your interests would be protected and not exploited on the show. Me thinks that at this moment, Portia is already thinking that this is a bad deal, but she signed the contract, so she has to do it. And I think that as soon as she signed the contract, whatever tea that they were digging up on Portia and waiting to expose, they started exposing her, and she realized now that it's not what she thought it was going to be, and she fucked up, but it's too late because she already agreed and did all the paperwork. So it's already greenlit. She already has to go through with it. Just off of this card and Portia's above position, I think that she thought it was going to be something else. And as soon as the ink was dried for her to be on the show, they let the floodgates unfold. Portia's currently looking to get out of this mess, out of Simon's mess, out of all of this mess. She's been played before she can even step foot on screen. This will be good to watch because we are going to see what we thought was Portia when she made the announcement that she was coming back and she was all, What we're actually going to see is Portia erratic again, scrambling. The same energy that she had on her show, her spinoff, when she found out that Bravo wasn't going to treat her nicely and they were going to expose her. I don't know. I think that she has the same concerns now. In her external environment, she's being exposed. Private matters that she would have liked to not being spoken about are being spoken about publicly. Hopes and fears. Currently, Portia is concerned. There's concern here. There's stress about what she's gotten herself into. Final outcome is the Tower moment. This is not good for a final outcome for Portia. They are going to destroy the foundation of your marriage with Simon. And all of you guys' tea is going to be spilled and exposed left and right. I actually want to start there. Your future cards are horrible, Portia. Let me just say that. 10 of Pentacles reversed in the near future, and the final outcome, the Tower. Worst thing you could have done is go back to Bravo. Girl. Let me look into the Tower as your outcome. Death in reverse. You shouldn't have done this. You are not going to like the results. You are not going to like how much you have to defend yourself and watch out for any plots, schemes, and plans that Bravo production and the girls have for you. Because, baby, they have them. And it's too late to renege now because you've already signed the contract to do the show. And then they start exposing you and Simon. Now, whether you file for divorce so that your coins will be protected, I do believe that. But I don't think that you wanted that to be public. I don't think that you wanted that to be public. I think that you wanted us to continue to see you as Portia Galbodia, but legally you didn't want to be tied up to any of his mess. I don't think you wanted that to be public, that you were filing for divorce because of his legal stuff. And I see the show definitely continuing to drive wedges in between your relationship, because there's already a wedge there. It's already heavily one-sided, and I get it's one-sided on Portia's end. Portia is more interested in making this relationship work, but I get that Simon is always a little bit cold, a little bit detached. He's present when it's time to take pictures and show up for social media and put up an image. But when it comes to one-on-one interaction, he's very much not there. He's very much distracted and not present. Doing this show will destroy your relationship, what's left of it, because it's going to throw Simon to the wolves, as we know these housewives to do to husbands, these housewife shows to do to husbands, and Simon is too much of a reality TV gold mine to not expose him. Near future, 10 of Pentacles reverse. Portia, your decision to do this, because you've wanted to do it. You've always been planning to come back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Even though I get in your energy that you're more aware and more cunning, you're not smarter than I thought. You're not smarter than you thought. You're just more aware and conniving and cunning. Not smarter, not wiser, and not savvy, because you make decisions that are very low vibrational. Cancer. I know that you're a Cancer. You don't make smart, wise decisions based on things that you should know. You should know better about. You make decisions based on emotional impulse. Your desire to be a star calls you to consider doing something that you thought might be good for you, but you already knew what it was going to be like hopping in bed with Bravo, with Simon involved. because that spinoff that they gave you with Dennis and Simon, that showed you what they want from you. Mess and mass exploitation. They want to exploit you more than they could exploit anyone else, because nobody is as ditzy as you are. And even if you play that, it's still there. They still know how to exploit your weaknesses. And you let them, because it seems like I don't know if you thought that going back would help you get some money of your own. I think that Simon might be a little bit controlling. I think that he's less generous as you thought he was. I thought with Fallon, I think that you saw something from the outside looking in, and then you got in and realized that he's not as generous. He's more frugal. He doesn't spend as much unless he can, he doesn't spend as much on you. He doesn't give you as much to spend on your own. I think he's tight with the purse strings, and you get to enjoy it when he's having moments in enjoyment, when he lets you enjoy it. But you can't just run up the bag off freely, willy-nilly. I think that he's done a lot of diverse business dealings overseas, in Dubai and Costa Rica and Nigeria heavily. I think that he travels often overseas, a lot of times without Portia, to do his various business dealings and other things that he's doing overseas with other women. And I think that Portia wanted to go back to the show so that she can have her own life, her own coin, and her own thing going on. Because I think Simon is controlling with the money. He doesn't spend a lot of time with Portia. He spends a lot of time traveling. And while he's gone, it's not like Portia can, soothe her loneliness in the coin and enjoy his coin. It's not like that. He controls the money even while he's gone, so Portia isn't able to spend it. And I see her being miserable a lot of the times, especially while he's alone. I think that I think she likes to play up on her feminine ditzy ways, because that's worked for her. It worked for her getting Simon, but it doesn't work for her getting Simon's coin. Simon is not dumb. And I think that he knows that Portia is with him for the coin. And I don't think that he's a Nigerian man that is generous with his money with American women. I think that he's more generous with African women and Eastern women, because they're valued higher than American women based on their morals and character. He's very aware of why Portia's with him. So he is very cold, detached, and analytical with Portia, very much about business when it comes to Portia. And I think it's because he knows why she's with him. They both are aware, and this is the card that I get when I read her and him when they first got together. They both are aware, especially Simon, of why they're with each other. Simon had his own reasons for marrying Portia. A little bit was spite, because I think that he loved Fallon more than he loved Portia. Whatever she did to hurt him, he wanted to spite her. But there were also logical, analytical reasons, practical reasons that he got with Portia. But he's aware of why she got with him. So he's not as generous, because he knows Portia. He knows that she came in, saw Fallon's lifestyle, and then snuck in. And even though he entertained it, he's not foolish enough to say, I'm a simp. I think this woman genuinely loves me for me and not for the lifestyle that she saw another woman have, and she wanted it. So yes, he played Portia, just like Bravo is playing Portia, because she thought that she was playing him with her womanly, feminine, ditzy ways, and he fed into it to get what he wanted from Portia, and to make her think that she was going to get what she wanted from him. He gave her enough gifts at the beginning to give her a taste of what it could be like. Then she married him and realized that He doesn't like to give her money. She doesn't have access to his accounts. She can't spend freely. He does give her an allowance, but it's measly. It's just enough to take care of the bare necessities and a little bit for her to spend on herself, but not like she planned. He doesn't take her traveling with him when he goes on his business dealings and she wants to be there, but he doesn't trust Portia. He didn't get with Portia because he saw her as a viable asset to his empire. So he's not taking you with him when he goes on his business dealings out of the country. He comes and picks you up when he wants to go on vacay and show off his trophy and portray himself as a certain way. But then after he's gotten his fill of his PR, of being a good family businessman for PR purposes, he puts you back on the shelf and goes on about his business. Current position, the star card. That's what you want, Portia. That's what you see. You have stars in your eyes, and all you see is the land of opportunity for you coming back to Bravo. But honey, at the cost of your marriage. And you are okay, because while you see Simon going down and his coin going down, you see this as you jumping a sinking ship, protecting your own coin and getting back to your own bag, because you realize Simon's bag was not what you thought it was. But Portia, I don't think that this stint on Real Housewives of Atlanta is going to work out the way you think it will. Challenging you with the devil. Portia, you get yourself into a lot of situations because you do things based on your greed. But the foresight, based on the red flags that you see that are present, you overlook them. Because all you see is what you want, the temporary, instant gratification. But you always get in fucked up situations that backfire on you because you're short-sighted. And you don't have the resources and the cunning, the savvy to manipulate yourself out of these situations you get into. You always end up manipulated and being the party that gets played. And that's what challenges you. And you do it a lot in relationships. You hook up with people, you get with people for your own reasons. For lifestyle, fame, fortune, instant gratification, I get with you. But if you use your foresight, you could be in more stable situations for you. But instant gratifications, you are not going to outplay Simon, even if it looks like you filing for divorce is so that you can protect your coin and then join Bravo, because Simon's a sinking ship and you can save yourself on Bravo. It's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that. I see you being afraid of any judgments against Simon because you're his wife and you have your own little nest egg. And I see that you fear ending up broke, being attached to Simon. Portia, good luck to you, because I don't know if you are going to get caught up in some of Simon's legal mess, but with the Tower moment as your outcome, here's you trying to maneuver your way out of all this messy stuff with your husband. Because again, a sinking ship, you see him going down and you don't want to go down with him. I also do see that the stall from you getting back onto the show was so that the girls couldn't inquire about your new relationship. you getting with Fallon. You getting with Fallon's husband. Give me one more card for Portia's final outcome. The Hermit in reverse. I don't know if you are going to stay on Real Housewives of Atlanta for more than one season. I don't think that your return will be a permanent return. I think that at the end you will consider coming back to the show a big mistake. So I don't know if you're going to want to sign up for more than one season, but I do see you attempting to distance yourself from any ties to Simon legally. If you try to throw this man under the bus on the show, even in a manipulative way, because you know how reality TV works, but he doesn't. So if you think that you trying to manipulate him with production in order to save yourself and throw him under the bus in a way where Simon doesn't catch on that you're in on throwing him under the bus, I don't think that you're going to play Simon the way that you think you're going to play Simon if you're thinking about playing Simon. But not a good idea for you or your husband or your marriage to do this show. Good luck, Portia. You guys, that's my Portia reading. Have a good day.